It's 5 minutes past 2. This is Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. Today is 6th of July 2021, and it is Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria Series 2 on Political Arena. Today's topic is implementation of political parties' manifesto for an inclusive governance. Our guests today are Ambassador Binta Suleiman, who is the national women leader of the Young Progressives Party, and Yeye Adenike Shobajo, who is a politician and gender advocate. Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of the Nigerian Women Trust Fund, NWTF, and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. Manifestos play a crucial role in visions of party democracy. Manifestos reflect key principles that should guide political parties. Official documents and statements of political parties often set normative and policy frameworks for gender equality, as they provide a vision of the party and set the rules of conduct. Women constitute about 49% of Nigeria's population. Sadly, only 7 out of the current 109 senators are women, and female members make up just 22 of the 360 members in the House of Representatives. Now, these are numbers that make you ask, are women not doing enough within political parties? Are political parties themselves enacting favorable policies that foster inclusion? These, amongst other things, are what we're going to be discussing today on Political Arena. The phone lines are open, or will be open in a bit rather, but in the meantime, you can send your comments via our social media handle at WFM917, and you can be a part of the conversation by sending your text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. I'll take that number again, 0703 175 6537. You can listen live from any part of the world at www.wfm917.com. Now we have joining us over the phone our first guest, who is Ambassador Binta Suleiman. She is the national women leader of the Young Progressives Party. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Binta. Are you there?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Sumto Ajama, by the way. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Political Arena.
Thank you so much.
So quickly, let's just go straight into business. First, I have to ask you, how has the journey been like for you in the political space as the woman that you are? Can you just tell us just a little bit about your journey so far in the political space as a woman?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like, I believe that I have a colleague there that is part of this program. I'd like to say a very good afternoon to the other guests.
Yes, she's not on at the moment, but she'll be joining us. She'll still be joining us on the show later on.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the journey so far, in Nigeria, the journey for women, in this country has been, the journey has been full of challenges, emanating from women, women who are willing and have the resources, but for fear of manipulation of power by the male counterpart. And the ones that have the resources, but do not have the basis to enter into politics. Some women have the resources, but have not been schooled about politics and how they can go about it. These are some of the reasons why women are, lacking behind, and so far so good. For now, I will first of all, try to commend, Senator Nkiru Onyejota, I hope I called her name correctly.
Yes,
for the courage, for her boldness, and for her passion for women empowerment. And I believe that she passed the bill. She was bold enough, and I believe it has passed second reading in the House. That is something that I highly commend. It is highly commendable. It means that women are moving. We are really moving, and I appreciate her for that.
I'm very glad you said that. I'm very glad you said that. And that just goes to explain how far women can go in politics when given the chance. So this brings me to my next question now. What do we do? What is the thing that we can do, or what are the things that we can do to ensure that political parties, which you are a part of, can embrace gender equality as a norm in their constitutions or manifesto, if you please?
Okay, you mean the Constitution and Manifesto of political parties?
Yes. What are the things that they can include in those constitutions or manifesto that can foster and promote gender equality in those political parties?
Okay. There's a lot, there's a lot to be done, First of all, we must, we should embark on, advocacy visits to various political parties, discussing with their leadership to show them the need to embrace gender equality in their constitution, and then to ensure that the constitution and manifesto of political parties are adhered to. We really, really need to educate and inculcate in the leadership of such political parties. The leadership of political parties needs to, they need to adhere to these documents to ensure proper political representation, and the dividends of democracy will come out.
Absolutely.
We really need to talk to the leadership of political parties. They are the ones to implement these, rules and regulations. They are the ones to adhere to. We need to make the parties to sign, a social contract with the people. We need to sign social contracts with political parties, with the people, with a view to ensure that they adhere to their manifestos.
Yeah.
That social contract is very vital and very, very important.
Yes. I completely agree with that. I believe that if all these things that you have said are actually done, the administrative visits, just more education, more literacy on this, in this aspect, and the social contract, I am pretty sure that at the end of the day and in the long run, women will be more included and there will be more gender equality in these constitutions. Because anyhow you look at it, women play a large role in actually making anything better. And I believe that when they're included properly and implemented properly in the political parties, rather, the world will see the difference. Nigeria will see the difference.
Yes.
Now, that also leads me to my next question now. Now, we know that some of these laws, some of these gender equality laws are already in the manifesto, they're already in the constitutions. But how can we ensure now, for a fact, we're talking implementation now, or execution, if you please. How can we ensure that these constitutions of these parties are adhered to in terms of women inclusion and gender equality? How can we make sure that it actually comes together?
Yes, like I said before, the leadership of political parties have to take responsibility when, putting together their constitution. And then, the constitution of the political parties also depends on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is being, we're talking about amendments.
Yeah.
And it's really the Constitution of Nigeria, the Nigerian Constitution really needs to be amended. There are so many causes that need to be touched for the woman to be able to feel free in the political arena. Do you understand?
Very true.
The Nigerian Constitution has to be, there are so many aspects of it that have to be touched, So, if without that, the only two books in the world that I know that cannot be amended is the Quran and the Bible. So, but as
You can say that again.
Yes. As time moves on, things change. We evolve every day. So the Constitution needs to be reviewed. And women in this country are not favored at all in the Nigerian Constitution. A lot has to be amended. So that is one reason why the political parties, by the time they try to make their constitution, it is going to be based on what is inside, what is stable.
The Nigerian constitution.
Constitution, yes.
So I hear you saying that it begins and ends with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to start with. So you're saying that the onus falls on the Constitution itself, that when the Constitution is amended, or in the case that it is amended, these other aspects of the Constitution and other aspects of life generally, which gender equality is a part of, will also be amended.
Yes, that is exactly what I mean. And you know very well that in politics, most political parties, if you check, most political parties have the same constitution and manifesto, if you read them very well. But the one of white people is one that is different, a little bit different. It differs from the rest. And I stand here today to tell you that YPP is a political party that is so gender friendly. It is gender friendly. That is the reason why some of us are stuck here. We are not going to any political party because of money. It is not all about money. It's all about competence, credibility. That's why we are in YPP. In YPP, in fact, our vice presidential candidate last election was a female. With King Primoganu and Hajia Ummageto, she was the vice presidential candidate. And as I speak to you today, she is the deputy chairman of the party. And I tell you that the YPP is so friendly that whenever the chairman of the party is not available, definitely Hajia Ummageto, presides over affairs. Men are sitting down there listening to her, and I'm always proud of her when she does that. And in our party, we have, resolved with each other that wherever a man is, in a position, the woman, the other gender needs to deputize. It doesn't have to be whether a man or woman. We need women we need other genders to deputize.
Is there any part of how do I phrase this now? Aside constitutional amendments, which you have rightly mentioned, and I'm in agreement with that point of view, actually. But is there any other way? Because constitutional amendment, in all honesty, it's actually like a far line away. It's like a long journey that baby steps are being taken towards, if any. So with the distance, or the seemingly far away distance that constitutional amendment looks like it's looking at right now, how much more of a closer approach can we take towards gender equality in political parties? What can we do within our circles of influence to see that gender equality is being fostered in not just in your political party, but in political parties generally? Are you there, ma'am? Are you there? Can you hear me, please? Binta, can you hear me, please? We'll do well to reconnect her back to the show. But in the meantime, we are still discussing the implementation of political parties' manifesto for an inclusive governance.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Political Arena. Can you hear me?
How are you?
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming on.
What is your name?
My name is Somto Ajamma. That's my name.
Okay. I wanted to call you.
Please go on. Like I was saying earlier, today we're talking about implementation of political parties' manifesto in inclusive governance. We're basically talking about getting women more positions in governance using the implementation of the already existing political parties' manifesto. We initially had Ambassador Binta Suleiman, who is the national women leader of the Young Progressive Party. And later on in the show, we are going to have Yeye Adenike Shobajo. She's also a politician and a gender advocate. I have to mention that Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of the Nigerian Women Trust Fund, NWTF, and supported by the Open Society Initiative of West Africa. Now, so many situations, in so many situations in Nigeria generally, we have been clamoring for gender equality equality rather, and politics is not any different. Politics has always been male dominated, is still male dominated, but we are hoping that more women will have more inclusive participation in governance. And currently, as we speak, there are only about 49% of women in Nigeria's population, and in that 49% rather, we have. Oh, let's take this call, please. We have Binta back on the phone. You're very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, as we were saying earlier, you mentioned about what can be done in constitutional amendments and that line of thought. And I was asking that how much more of a closer approach can we take towards ensuring gender equality amongst governance or in governance? What can we do within our immediate circle of influence, aside your political party now that is taking a stand and making gender inclusion a specific and definite thing? But what can we do? Not just within your political party, but within political parties in general. How much more?
I agree with you.
Yes,
I agree
thank
with
you.
you. You know, as I said, political parties need to embrace gender, inclusiveness. Genuinely. Genuinely they have to embrace it. By restraining some seats for women in the party structure. The party structure, you must retain some seats. We should be able to, the party should be able to retain some seats for women specifically. In fact, we can occupy 40 to 60%, if not more. And as as a women leaders, we need to rise up to the task of making sure that other positions are open for women in the party structure. And I expect that political parties to take a page from YPP. I keep on talking about YPP because I see it, happening there. And then political parties should not deal with women, based on what we wear or thereabouts. They should deal with women based on what we have in our head, what we carry in our head, what we can, based on our capabilities and abilities to deliver. That is some of the basis why, women should be, Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please go on, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, sorry. And you know very well that, women representation, like we said, is very, 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 very important. It matters a lot. Politics is all about trade-offs, And by the time women are not on decision-making tables, obviously, issues concerning women will definitely be the trade-offs. Women representation matters. Women leaders should provide platforms for enlightenment through seminars and workshops, to school the women properly. Women who are willing to vie for political, for positions should be given waivers or reduce the fees for nomination forms and things like that, so on and so forth. There are so many things to be done. I don't know how we can go about it within this, short period of time. There's a lot. There's room
of work that needs a lot of room for improvement and a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yes.
I have to ask you, in respect to electoral violence against women in politics, what can party leaders do to protect their female members or female candidates, if you please, from electoral violence?
My sister, unfortunately, I must say this, that when it comes to violence during election, they do not see woman, they don't know man, they don't know woman. They deal with everybody the same way. So I think the only way that we can protect, we don't really need to protect only women. We need to protect each and every one of us.
Male and female.
Male and female. We need to protect each and every one of us. That is why we are vying for and praying and begging the government and INEC to give us that electronic voting device. We want to use electronic voting device. When people vote, the results will go immediately and they give us the result immediately and everybody goes home. There won't be violence. There won't be violence. It was used in Edo. It worked in Edo. I don't see why we want to do away with it now. If we want to do away with that electronic device, we should now, if we don't want that, we don't want advance, want to go backward, want to move one step forward and 10 steps backward. If that is the case, if we are not going to use that electronic voting
system,
what do you call it, system, then we should go back to option A4. Let us line up behind our candidates and vote. It happened. It was possible in Edo. I don't see any reason why we don't want to use that. That will reduce a lot of violence. It is after the voting and counting the violence starts.
Yes.
And when they start, they don't see a woman, they don't see man or woman. They deal with everybody. It's not only women. It's not only women. They deal with each and everybody. And so that is why we want that electronic voting device to be used. A lot of money has been spent to bring about that electronic, and now you want to do away with it. No. That is the only thing that can even help women more.
Yes, just like you mentioned, I actually think that they actually affect women more as well. And in this light of looking at it from both the male and female perspective, I actually think they affect women more. So
of course, they affect women more because we are weaker. When it comes to, standing in a crowd and fighting for
against violence, yes,
against violence. And I must tell you that when it comes to violence, there is no where a man will stand and say that they are trying to protect a woman. When it comes to politics like they do in Nigeria, there's no man that will stand there and say they are trying to protect you. They will all run away. You are on your own. There. Only the security agencies during election, if the party can we go and arrange for special security for our party, for our women? Is that possible? Yes.
I understand your point. The time is 26 minutes past 2. This is Women Radio 91.7. It is Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. Today on Political Arena, we are discussing implementation of political parties' manifesto for an inclusive governance. Our guest today, we have Ambassador Binta Suleiman on the line. She is the national women leader of the Young Progressives Party. And we are discussing women inclusion and basically implementation of political parties' manifesto for an inclusive governance. And so far, we have had so many schools of thought on this subject, but Ambassador Binta Suleiman is of the opinion that constitutional amendment is a good way to begin and will definitely go a long way in addressing gender equality and women inclusion in politics, to be specific. Ambassador Binta, I would like to ask you a question about... Oh, we lost her. Well, we all understand that politics is very influential in democracy generally, in every country, in every nation, and Nigeria is not alone there. Nigeria is not anywhere out of that mix. But women have always been segregated or put to the side when it comes to politics. And today we're talking about implementing political parties manifesto for an inclusive governance. Like I said earlier, only 7 out of 109 senators in Nigeria are women, and the female members make up only 22 of the 360 members in the House of Representatives. So that makes you question why there is not enough there's not enough women inclusion and gender equality in politics. The phone lines are open. You can call us on 07000 917 917. And you can also send your comments to our social media handle on WFM 917 across all social media. You can also call our alternative line 0902 562 5455. The phone lines once again are 07000 917 917. And the alternative line is 0902 5625 5455. I'll take that again. 0902 562 5455. We have Binta on the line once again. Thank you so much for coming on, Ma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I was asking a question initially about the lack of finance, which is a basic, it's actually a really big barrier to women's participation in governance. Do you think that political parties can play any role in assisting with financing women in politics, and how do you think they can make that happen?
I don't see anything wrong in political parties, assisting and rendering help to some of the candidates that they find credible and they have the ability to deliver, to assist them financially. It's a very, very highly welcome development. to assist women who cannot afford to do this. But you and I know very well, let's face facts. Politics has to do with money. It has a lot to do with money. Sometimes, if you don't have this kind of money, it will be funny for you to say you're coming out for politics and you have virtually nothing. But like I said, there is nothing wrong. It will be highly welcome for political parties to assist, to give a helping hand to those that cannot afford. Like, when the forms, right now as I'm talking, there's somebody in this local government elections, the councillors, and I have been told, according to what I heard, that they have to pay 600,000 naira for, to become councillors, to fill their forms and, contest. 600,000 naira is no joke. 600,000 naira for a councillor, for councillorship, that is on the high side. There are women out there that can be councillors out there, but how many of them can afford 600,000 naira to go and contest for councillorship? Chairman, I learned it's 1 million plus. So what? I mean, it's a game of numbers. It's a game of numbers. Let's face facts. If you don't have money, please
stay away from politics.
Yes, just good.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Binta Suleiman. Thank you so much for coming on Political Arena. You have been very, very, very educative. You've helped a lot in constructing opinions, and I really want to say thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will be having our next guest on the program. She is Yeye Adenike Shobajo. She's a politician and she's also a gender advocate. It's 26 minutes to 3, and this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. It is Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria Series 2 today on Political Arena. I am Sumto Ajamma, and today's topic is implementation of political parties' manifesto for an inclusive governance. We had previously Ambassador Binta Suleiman from the National Women Leader, who is rather the National Women Leader of the Young Progressives Party. And now we have on the phone Yeye Adenike Shobajo, who is also a politician and gender advocate. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Straight into business. I would like to ask you one question before we go into other questions. How has the political journey for you been like as a woman?
Well, thank you very much for this question, but allow me please to also say before we go on, I would like to begin by saying that I want to thank the originator of this radio station, my good friend Tom, and her team. Her effort at the initial stage of conception of this station was just like, one of those things, gender influx, that, well, let's see how it stands. Maybe it can, stand the side of time. Kudos to you all, as this is actually a great effort that is growing from leaps and bounds. I've been part of it from day one. I would like to say well done. I can imagine the
Thank you very much.
Yes, I can imagine the challenges and difficulties, but I'm sure that the resilience that is put into it has paid off, and I wish you greater tomorrow and more success.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, ma.
Yes, it's the truth. It's the truth. I'm not just saying this because I'm here, you've invited me. It's actually the truth. I have been also, let me let you know that I've been down with the bout of fever, malaria, for quite some days now. But I raised myself up, and whilst looking forward to this, I feel better. And I try to make sure that I don't disappoint you and your quality audience. So here we are.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you so much once again.
I also want to say too that I know that you know that I'm a politician and I belong to a particular party. But what I know is that you expect me to broaden my thinking and present a balanced discourse. And I
Absolutely.
that this is what I will do. As a PR professional and a private sector player, I know the expectation of the public to an unbiased input in this kind of exposition. I will try not to disappoint you in this regard.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again. So,
yes, I will try to give an expose to the position of what obtains in the political arena without being biased.
yes.
So you have asked me about my political journey so far.
Yes, as a woman.
Yes. Well, there are some people who say they don't want to hear you talk about woman. I'm proud to let you know that as a woman, I've been able to do so much. And because I'm a woman, I've been able to achieve what I've achieved. My political journey spans, several years. I can tell you that I'm a student of Funshaw Williams School of Politics, so you know where I'm coming from. Also, my PR profession has greatly helped me to traverse the political terrain where I've been since 1998. Yes. Also, as a private sector player, I've been able to balance my perception of the roles I'm expected to play in politics. Well, let me quickly tell you that by next year I'll be 70. I'm a beneficiary of several training programs for female politicians, and this has encouraged me to go directly into partisan politics. My political career, I would not have been able to achieve what I've achieved if not that I'm a public relations practitioner and the fact that I'm a private sector player. I rose to become vice president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So I passed through the ranks, that is, I walked through the ward, the local government, the state, the southwest zone. These are the platforms that you go through in politics, and even at the national level in PDP, where I am a member of the party. I have contested to the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which for its 6th time.
Interesting.
So, this in a nutshell is the much that I can tell you about my person. It's a large and expanded journey.
Yes.
But let me just briefly tell you that I've walked through the ranks. I've been able to rise to get to a pedestal that I am right now. And I thank God that we're still here. Age has not been a barrier for me. As a matter of fact, a lot of experience is in there. And I thank God that I am where I am. I've been able to walk through the ranks. I've been able to study some who are ahead of me. I have several women like Chief Mrs. Adike Maina, Senator Akiri Lebokno, and Senator Paul should be. Well, in years passed by, Auntie Jadesola Konde of blessed memory, these people have helped me a lot to climb the ladder.
Yes.
And I've been able to learn, put myself in a position to learn, and I still continue to learn, even from the young ones. You can't believe it, and that's true.
Yes. Speaking of women who have paved the way for you to walk in politics, I have to ask, how do we begin to mobilize women at the grassroots level to participate in politics? Women who have aspirations like you to be big things in politics and actually make a difference. How do we begin to mobilize women at that grassroots level to participate in politics?
Well, there's a lot to it. I think what we're trying to do is to go into gender inclusion in the political space. Well, let me just state that since 1998 that I ventured into politics, women have been struggling. Like I said earlier, I met with Auntie Jadesola Konde, Auntie Hezekiah Woshika, and even the young one, our own general that we call her General Abiola Akeobi. Of course, I will not go too much to reiterate the history behind the struggles of our political mothers, Amina, Majetetu, and all that. Believe me, we have not done any better. It's not out of not trying or not having materials to work with in terms of female participation. If you ask me, the problem actually has to do with patriarchy. Patriarchy in all ramifications is still a problem for us. Men still cannot just accept that we are partners in this game of politics and national development. They don't want to accept that we are partners in progress. For instance, in elective and selection areas, we take one step forward and 7 steps backward. Right now, there are less than 5% in the legislature. 6 women out of 109 senators, and 12. I believe that this is actually the figure that it is, when less than 5%. Let's not fool ourselves. When you have 360 members in the House of Reps, and you have only 12 women, you have 6 women out of 109 senators. How do you want them to cope? So this is the problem.
Yes.
My dear sister, even in selective positions, most governors are still way behind, far from achieving gender balance. Apart from governors such as Sokoa and Saulu, and I learned that the governor of Ekiti, maybe because of the first lady, and most governors of PDP, we still have a long way to do. We're still working at it anyway.
Yes.
You know, I belong to a feminist group where the membership is very rich in women from various professional bodies and academia. Yes, as well as women who have stood their ground in self-actualization.
I have a quick question, please.
Pardon?
I have a quick question, please, as regards women in politics. Do you think that lack of education on electoral processes is a barrier to women participation in governance? Do you think that women need to be more educated on electoral processes to foster more women inclusion in politics?
Yes, this actually is very, very important.
Yes, and what steps can be adopted to make that really happen, for it to really happen and stay as a real thing in politics?
Yes, like I said, it's very important. One thing that I would like to say is that we must be very, very knowledgeable in, the constitution of Nigeria and the constitution of our various political parties. Once you know your rights, and you know what is entrenched in the documents that that guide the political parties, we should have that at our fingertips. That's very important.
Yes.
Thank God that we now have more women who can read and write. Women must actually focus our attention on political development strategy. There are certain things that men are doing that we just have to find a way to do. We must stop this PhD syndrome. We have to find a way to educate ourselves in development processes. Politics, my dear sister, is very dynamic now.
True.
And all sorts of shifts are put into it. And like all areas of interest that require us to be enlightened, women should arm ourselves with apparatus of political knowledge and learn through the roots. No one gives anything to anybody on the platter of gold. Definitely the men will not do that. But knowledge through education of issues that are bordering on politics and what to do to progress politically, this is very, very key. We have the UN Women. These are bodies. We have the IRI, we have the EU, and other international donor agencies.
Yes.
They have packages at enhancing women's participation in the electoral process. They are helping to make sure that whatever they do is given to non-state actors. Gone are the days when they will come and give the money to government, and then they will go to local governments and give to all their leaders, and these leaders will pocket and buy babariga and all those stuff. Now several NGOs and CBOs are also engaging in this through the use of various media and the virtual instruments.
Yeah.
So I think that more women should actually be invited to study at the National Democratic Institute. This is something I am praying for. I don't have the privilege, and I wish that somebody is listening somewhere that can, help us. You have the National Democratic Institute. I'm sure if you look at that body, you have more than 80% participation that is male. So more women should actually get in there so that we can be able to get the knowledge that is required for women and the elections resource guide, to guide us in all that we do. And we women should actually be knowledgeable about the importance of voting and the concept of free and fair elections. These are important issues. We must be able to understand what goes into the rudiment of political practice. We shouldn't shy away from that. Of course, we cannot go into everything like these are nocturnal meetings and stuff. But at the same time, once we're educated, we should be able to do what we need to do. Let me tell you that it's not only in politics, though. We have all these issues. I happen to be a private sector person, and I know that several of the women who have gone to the boardroom to become managing directors or chairmen, like you have this lady in the first rank, what's her name now? As chairman of the first bank, Ibukwa Woshika. These are women that we point to. You have the top women who are leaders. You have the most powerful women in the private sector. I'm trying to remember her name. She's gone into the oil industry and everything like that. So it's not only in politics that we have this problem, but all of us would have to have passed through the rudiments that will allow us to excel in all the areas that we actually excel.
True. Wow. So what do you think can be done to ensure that political parties embrace gender equality? What do you think are the steps that we can do within our circle of influence, within the situations that we can affect within these political parties to ensure that gender equality is seen as a norm in their constitutions?
Well, there is a lot that we have to do. You are asking me about how we can adhere to party constitution and the manifesto.
Yes, to ensure, to promote women inclusion.
Yes, I think that this has to do with internal democracy, actually. It's entrenched into what goes on the day-to-day practice and activities within the political party. The internal democracy has to play a good part here. Money politics has eaten into the fabric of our politics in Nigeria. Unfortunately, not many women can do so much there. But then, I think that the area of entrepreneurship, if our women can go into entrepreneurship, that will help. So the fight against corruption must also be heightened. This is the problem that we have. Money, they say, is the root of all evil. We just need to create an awareness in this regard. All the machineries should be put in place, using various media, which is where you are, print, electronic, social, even the local media is very important to downplay politics and cry out, on the ethics and fear of God. Churches and mosques have roles to play here. And I think that, like I said, internal democracy, the party chairman must have muscle. They must be aware that women have roles to play, but not just that. If the chairman of these political parties have muscle enough to discipline their erring candidates, the supremacy of power should reside with them. Let me say here, don't say I'm deviating, but I would like to chip in here that no president, no governor, no chairman, office holders should be more superior to the political party leader.
Okay. Wow, this has been a very heated conversation. And thank you so much for all your input, Adenike. I really have to say thank you for joining us on Political Arena today. Thank you once again. Okay. This is where we draw the curtain on Political Arena. Gender-sensitive manifestos can actually help political parties identify gender-based inequalities. It can help provide clear direction and policy measures to promote gender equality in politics. Political parties need to employ the use of special measures to promote women participation in politics. Thank you so very much to all our guests. Thank you to the production team, Esther Alaribe, Tunde Olowake, and Taiwo Adeleye. Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria on Political Arena continues next Tuesday at 2 p.m. on Women Radio 91.7. Thank you so much. My name is Sumto Ajama. Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, NWTF, and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa. I'm Sumto Ajama once again. Have a wonderful day. Good afternoon.